Hello and welcome back. In our first two explainers, we really dug into why teaching a computer to see was just so unbelievably hard, and then we did a deep dive into the nuts and bolts of the AlexNet architecture itself. And now, in our final episode, we're going behind the curtain. We're going to uncover the hidden battles, the ingenious hacks, and the incredible legacy of the one breakthrough that truly taught the world to see. All right, let's get into it. It all begins with just one number, 15.3%. This was AlexNet's error rate at the ImageNet competition back in 2012. Now, on its own, that number might not look like much. But you have to understand, in the world of AI at that time, this single number was like a seismic shockwave that shook the entire field to its core. So, that's the big question we're going to tackle today. How did this one result from this one competition completely turn an entire field of research on its head? We're going to explore the absolutely brutal engineering challenges the team was up against and the clever solutions they came up with that, well, ended up kicking off the entire deep learning revolution. To really get why this was so shocking, you just have to look at the gap. The runner-up that year, using all the best traditional methods available, they got an error rate of 26.2%. AlexNet didn't just win. It jumped ahead by more than 10 percentage points. This wasn't just a small step forward. This was a complete break from the past, a signal that a totally new and way more powerful way of doing things had just arrived. You know, to really feel the impact of that shockwave, you have to remember what things were like back then. The entire field was just kind of thawing out from a long AI winter, this period where everyone was super skeptical and nobody expected any huge breakthroughs. The thinking was that progress would be slow, steady, and incremental. And then AlexNet came along and just shattered that whole idea. For decades, the main way people tried to solve computer vision, let's call it software 1.0, involved brilliant engineers sitting down and writing rules by hand. They would try to mathematically define what an edge looks like, or a corner, or a texture. But AlexNet was something completely different. It was all about end-to-end learning. And the idea was radical, but also incredibly simple. Don't tell the machine what to look for. Just show it a million pictures of a cat and let it figure it out for itself what catness really is straight from the raw pixels. Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle isn't some elegant new theory. No, it's a story about a gritty, down-and-dirty fight against the physical limits of computer hardware. See, the team's idea for this network, their vision, was just way too big for the technology that existed at the time. And here's their secret weapon. Instead of using a normal CPU, the kind that does one complex thing at a time really fast, they used a gaming graphics card, an NVIDIA GTX 580 to be exact. A GPU is built for something called parallelism. It does thousands of simple things all at once, which just so happens to be perfect for all the math inside a neural network. Yeah, this revolution didn't start in some fancy supercomputing lab. It started with hardware that was built to play video games. But, and this is a big but, that gaming card had a massive weakness. Its memory. It only had 3 gigabytes of VRAM. When you've got a network with 60 million different knobs to tune, 60 million parameters, 3 gigs is a claustrophobically tiny space. There was just no way the model, all its data, everything it needed to learn, it just wasn't going to fit. So what do? Well, their solution was as scrappy as it was brilliant. Instead of making their AI brain smaller to fit the hardware, which would have crippled it, they just bought a second GPU and split the brain right down the middle. Each graphics card handled half of the neurons, running side by side. And, to keep things moving fast, the two halves would only talk to each other at a few specific points along the way. And this led to a completely unexpected and frankly amazing discovery. This engineering hack, this workaround for a hardware problem, it actually caused the network to specialize all on its own. Because the two streams were mostly separate, one GPU got really good at seeing things without color, shapes, edges, textures. Meanwhile, the other half became the color expert. The network literally organized itself, just like a biological brain might, without anyone telling it to. Now, with all that power and those 60 million parameters, the network faced this silent killer, a problem we call overfitting. This is the danger that the model just becomes a genius with a perfect photographic memory, but with absolutely zero real understanding. And that's really the heart of the challenge, right? An overfit network could just memorize the exact pixel pattern of every single one of the 1.2 million images it trained on. It would get a perfect score if you showed it those same pictures again, but show it a brand new picture of a dog it's never seen, it would completely fail. The goal was never memorization, It had to be generalization. So to fight this, they used two unbelievably clever tricks. The first is called data augmentation. Think of it like creating a nearly infinite library for the AI to study from. They would take the training images and randomly crop them, flip them, even mess with the color and lighting, creating millions of new examples. The second trick, dropout, was more like actively messing with the network while it was trying to learn, to force it to think harder. And the idea behind dropout, which came from Jeff Hinton, is just beautiful. He actually based it on sexual reproduction. See, when genes are passed down perfectly, they form these cozy, codependent teams. But sexual reproduction shuffles everything up. It forces each gene to be useful on its own, to work well with a whole bunch of different partners. Dropout did the same thing for neurons. By randomly turning them off during training, it forced each neuron to be tough and independent, instead of relying too much on its neighbors. And finally, they needed an engine to actually make the learning happen. For that, they used an algorithm called stochastic gradient descent with momentum. The best way to picture it is to imagine a heavy bowling ball rolling down a big, hilly landscape. A simpler algorithm might get stuck in a little pothole, a small dip, but a heavy ball with momentum, it'll just power right through those small traps and keep rolling until it finds the true deepest valley, the point of lowest possible error. So once they solved the hardware puzzle and the learning puzzle, AlexNet didn't just win a contest. It fired the starting gun for a whole new race. And what came next? It wasn't a slow evolution. It was an explosion. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's incredible. In 2012, AlexNet proves the whole concept works with 8 layers. Then, boom, just 2 years later, you have networks like VGGNet and GoogLeNet pushing that to around 20 layers deep, showing that deeper was definitely better. And then, in 2015, ResNet came along with a new trick called skip connections that just blew the doors off, jumping to an insane 152 layers. And the result of that explosion was this number, 3.57%. In just 3 years, on the exact same task, ResNet achieved an error rate that low. And here's the kicker. That is better than human-level performance. For the first time ever, a computer was better at this specific visual recognition task than a person was. Something that was pure science fiction in 2012 was now a reality. So what's the real legacy of AlexNet then? I mean, it's not just that we got better at sorting our photos. It's about a massive, fundamental shift in how we even think about building intelligent systems. And this is not some abstract academic idea. The principles that AlexNet proved are literally woven into the world around us today. Its descendants are in hospitals diagnosing diseases from eye scans. They're the vision systems in self-driving cars. And yep, that technology that unlocks your phone with your face, its DNA traces right back to this breakthrough. The world we live in right now was shaped by this moment. This whole thing represents a huge philosophical shift, something the researcher Andrej Karpathy calls software 2.0. In the old world, software 1.0, we humans wrote explicit instructions in code. But in this new world, our job has changed. We've become teachers. We provide a goal, we design a network, and we give it a ton of data. And then, the optimization algorithm writes the actual program, those millions of network weights. The source code isn't text anymore. The source code is data. And that, right there, is the ultimate lesson of AlexNet. It taught us that for the messy, complicated, intuitive problems that define our real world, intelligence doesn't come from writing a perfect set of rules. It emerges from the incredible dance between architecture, data, and learning. This breakthrough closes the chapter on our 3-part series, but it opened an entirely new one for humanity.